this week. For all of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it if you can. Drop your comments down below. We love interacting with anyone that's watching or listening, sharing your views and getting involved in the show. For those listening on any of the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, please follow, give us a 5-star review if you can. Every little bit is appreciated. So yeah, try and get involved on the audio side as well. So we've obviously got double game week this week, both of us, which I'm kind of annoyed about because players have just come back from international duty and you're slapping double game weeks in. And then I think you've got the Champions League next middle of the week. So you're going to have so many games over these next couple of weeks in April. It's I hate the way this season's set up. It needs to be rethought out because there's months where we have just big old gaps everywhere, and then there's months where we're just absolutely slamming the players with loads of games. Think of December is a terrible period. April again coming up with all these games. We've got to work out a more sustainable calendar for them. But let's get into the midweek games first. Jonts, you guys are up first. Arsenal at home to Luton on Wednesday. Luton have actually they've played decent away. They haven't got good results away, but they've played decent. They were at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the weekend. Well, 1-0 up for a large portion of that game. Drawing until the last 10 minutes, until Son steps up and gets the win for them, and they kind of feel a little bit hard done by. But yeah, give me your preview and your prediction. Arsenal versus Luton. What do you think the game will be like, and do you think you get the dub?
I think we will get the win. I'm going to say that we're going to win 3-1. I think Luton are very good. I do, my opinion of them has changed a lot over the last, let's say, 10, 12 game weeks. I think they've really shown me something that I didn't see at the beginning, which was a hell of a lot of fight. Right, they might not have the players for it, but they've got a lot of fight, and it's a difficult team to play. I think if Luton were at home, I would say the result would be even closer. But I think when it comes to playing like quality teams, I don't know if they're going to have enough to come to the Emirates and really get something from the game. So I'm going to say that it's going to be maybe like a 3-1 win to us. I think we'll probably go 2-0 up. It will get a little bit closer, 2-1. They'll get a goal back, and then we'll kind of close the game out with a late third goal. But I don't think it will be easy by any means. I think Luton, you have to realise at the same time, for teams like Arsenal, City, Liverpool, United, Aston Villa, Tottenham, this is really important time of the year, right? We're all trying to get positions. We're all trying to get titles, whatever it is. At the same time, teams like Luton are just trying to survive, man. And I would say that the need to survive probably outweighs the need to achieve a Champions League spot. So when you're coming up against teams like Luton, it's going to be a tough game, right? These next 8 games, it's going to be a real hard slog against them because they're fighting for their actual survival. And especially with all these points deductions like happening and then not happening and then getting reinstated and whatever else, for them, there's even more need for them to be like, we need to win every single game from here on out to make sure that we stay in this league. So I don't think any team coming up against Luton is going to have an easy ride. I think it's going to be a real tough one. But I think when it comes to Arsenal, coming off of a good result against City, I think maybe some of our players will be tired, I'm sure. So I don't know if we're going to go out there and spank them, but I do think it will be, we will win the match and we will deserve to win it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think it'll be a little bit tighter because I do think Arteta will rotate. You got a really hard game away on Saturday at Brighton. So I think off the back of the City one, and being sandwiched between the City one and this Brighton away game that you've got on the weekend, I think he'll rotate the team a bit, and I think that will make the result a little bit closer. And I think you'll win the game. I reckon that's pretty much nailed on, but I reckon it'll be 2-1. And I wouldn't be surprised if you score a couple of goals and they pull one back, or maybe they take the lead and you kind of have to fight back and get the win. But yeah, Luton are a really tricky team to play. I think we beat them 1-0. Tottenham beat them 2-1. None of the big teams have spanked them, I think, home or away. So I think it will be a tricky one, and I think you'll get the win. But I think you could be a team that spanks them if you go full strength, by the way. I'm only saying this result because I do think Arteta will play around with the team a little bit, maybe bring in Smith Rowe, bring in, Tomiyasu, bring in a few players and shuffle the pack a bit, which I think is the right thing because you've got this big game against Brighton. I think you could probably get away with it against Luton, but I think it's going to be a little bit tighter because of that. So I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Luton 1 for my prediction. Let's go on to the United game then. We're playing Chelsea away. This is a rearranged fixture. I think we were supposed to play it a couple of weeks back, but because of our involvement in the FA Cup, we couldn't do it. We actually haven't got the worst record at Stamford Bridge recently. It used to be a bit of a hoodoo ground for us. But I think last season we absolutely peppered them. And, somehow I think McTominay gave away a late penalty and Casemiro had to do that unbelievable header to get the draw in the end. And there were absolute limbs and scenes going on in the away end. But Chelsea are such a hard team to predict, man, because they were absolutely peppering. Was it Burnley they were 2-0 up against? Or at least 1-0 and then 2-1, and it looked like they were, going to coast it out. Cole Palmer was tucking goals away again. And they just conspired to screw it up, and Burnley managed to get a draw, which I don't know how anyone, managed to
goalkeeper had a bit of a ropey moment. And obviously
Robert
their back
Sanchez,
line is a bit... I think it was actually... Wasn't it Petrovic?
No, I saw the highlights, and it looked very Robert Sanchez-ish, the way he was diving around. So I think Sanchez played that game. But yeah, I would be shocked if it was Petrovic. They look like Sanchez mistakes because I've seen him drop some clangers and he just generally always flails about. Because he let in that header at the corner and it went straight through his hands. That was definitely not Petrovic. I'm almost certain of it.
No, it was Petrovic.
Really?
It was Petrovic. Yeah, he had an absolute stinker of a game because I remember watching it and he kind of pushes it into his own net. And obviously Badiashile and Disasi just looked like shocking all the time. Gusto is really the only part of that defence that I actually don't half mind. Everyone else in that defence is absolutely rubbish. So, Chelsea are... And there were some weird decisions in that match. Like Assignon should never have got sent off and they should never have got that penalty on Mudryk that Cole Palmer ended up chipping down the middle. But... they should have won that game comfortably and just made it way harder for themselves the whole time. And the referee kind of helped them get over the line in that one because they could easily have lost it if that had not happened.
Yeah, no, they that's rattled me a bit that Petrovic made those mistakes because I've really liked him. He's looked really good, and it just looked like an absolute carbon copy of stuff that Robert Sanchez does. So that's. Maybe they will come and get Ramsdale. Petrovic keeps dropping these clangers. That might bring you another 20 million or 30 million or whatever. But Chelsea are just back to it. Chelsea are so hard to predict. I think we'll win because whenever we play Chelsea, we somehow seem to be kind of their kryptonite. Like we seem to always absolutely batter them whenever we play them recently. And we're kind of really similar teams, aren't we? The only difference is we've got a few more experienced players, which I think when you get in games against them where they've only got the youngsters, can sometimes be the little, kind of additional bit that we have over them. So I'm going to go Chelsea 1, United 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw. I don't expect us to lose. I can't rule it out because of how, all over the place we are, but I expect us to probably win the game, but it'll be tighter than it should be. We'll probably have loads of chances, miss them, still somehow manage to score a few goals. So I'm going to go United 2, Chelsea 1. What do you think for that game?
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think Chelsea ever are in low-scoring games at this point in time. They just end up... Well, I'm looking at their last few fixtures. 2-2 against Burnley, 4-2 against Leicester, 3-2 against Newcastle, 2-2 against Chelsea, 3-2 against Leeds. Like, these guys are going to let goals in no matter what happens. And I'm looking at your last few games. 4-3 Liverpool, 2-0 Everton, 3-1 City, 1-0 Forest. I think the two of you are in for a high-scoring game because I think there is a mistake in every single one of the defenders on that pitch. And now every single one of the goalkeepers on that pitch. So I'm going to go for a 3-2 Chelsea home win. But I think it's going to be a really entertaining game, right? It's the thing that I was saying before. When two teams are have some frailties, but they're also quite good offensively, it makes for a great game, man. And I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I don't know whether it'll be you win or they win. I think it could go really either way. And you guys probably have more bottle to finish out the match and win it. But all I know is that there's going to be at least 4 goals scored in this game. People are going to go brazy, and it's going to get really entertaining. So I'm really looking forward to watching this match, to be honest with you. More so than Luton against Arsenal, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's got more potential to be a better spectacle, just because both teams are pretty attacking. Both teams have got weaknesses in defence, and also stylistically, I think don't prioritise defending. Let's be perfectly honest. I think Chelsea don't, and I think we don't, which is quite weird. And I can see it being a high scoring one, but I think we won 2-1 early in the season. We should have won about 4-1. We did beat them. I think 4-1 last season.
Beat them 4-1 last season. Yeah, and 1-1.
But away it was 1-1. So this is the thing. I think normally at Stamford Bridge it's a little bit less high scoring, but I can see 2-2. I can see 2-1. I think 3-2. I'm not sure if I can see that many goals coming, but I can see it being entertaining for sure. But I'm gonna support the my team, and I'm gonna say we're just gonna be nicking it, but I wouldn't be shocked if your result came through. Let's get onto the weekend games then. So we've got
Liverpool.
Arsenal. We'll start with your game first, because chronologically you guys are on Saturday. So you got Brighton away. Really tough game, even though they've got loads of injuries, and a lot of their first teamers are out. They still gave Liverpool a really good game. Danny Welbeck scoring obviously the goal early on, and they were absolutely peppering them at the end of the game, and it could have been 2-2 if they made some better choices. Brighton are not the worst team ever. They're very attacking, but I think the last time you went there and battered them, didn't you, last season? So and you've beaten them at home this season.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think this game will go? Do you think it will be more of the run in last season where they went to the Emirates and beat you, or do you think it'll be more of kind of the same of the results you've had generally against them?
I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be more of the same. I think the last 2 times that we've played them, like I remember De Zerbi coming out and just being like they were better than us. There's nothing we can do about it. They were just better than us. And I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be as easy as that. Yeah. Like we beat them 2. I think 2-0. We did lose to them back end of last season. That was one of the ones that really infuriated me at home in May. And we also battered them earlier in that season when we were away against them. I think it was 4-2, not battering, but we beat them 4-2. So I think I'm going to go for.
It was 4-0, and then
So
you did batter them. You did batter them.
Yeah, but I'm going to say for us, I think it's going to be I'm going to go for a 4-1 win.
Man's got on the side of the batterings again. Fair enough.
No, because I'm looking at So the few times that we've played them, we've been better. Right, obviously apart from that home game back end of last season, but I think we've been better than them. I think, of course, they're coming off some weird results, man. They lost to Liverpool. They beat Roma 1-0. They beat Nottingham Forest, but they got battered by Roma 4-0. They got battered by Fulham 3-0. So I think it's a weird one. I don't know what's happened with Brighton this season, but depends on who turns up and when they turn up. But they can be absolutely class or they can be absolutely rubbish. So I'm hoping for the latter.
Yeah, we talk about United being like a bag of revels, but Brighton are the biggest bag of revels ever. This season, they've been so unpredictable. They've taken absolute slappings and they've given out slappings, and they've it's been so hard to understand or predict what they're going to play like. In terms of their success of playing the way they want to play. Like sometimes they play it perfectly, and it looks like Pep eat your heart out. De Zerbi's got all the plans, and then other days it looks like they don't know what the heck they're doing, and there's no cohesion.
They've lost 4-0 to Luton. Earlier in the season, they lost 4-0 to Luton, man.
They've taken slappings. I'm pretty sure they got pummeled by Aston Villa or Newcastle, and then pummeled the opposite team. The other way. Like it's just really hard to predict what you're going to get with them. But I'm going to go for this being a humdinger, and I'm going to go Brighton 3, Arsenal 3. I think you're going to absolutely go for it. Brighton are going to go for it, and I think it's going to be a real good game. I think this is going to be your spectacle of the 2 fixtures. I think Brighton will go for it, and I think you'll go for it. And I think De Zerbi's got to have something loading for you guys because really you battered them. I know it was 2-0, but that was the best Arsenal performance I'd seen in that period. Remember, that was when you guys were all kind of moaning and whinging a little bit because you were winning games but not playing very well. But in that game, you absolutely turned it on and gave them the worst slapping of all. Like I know the scoreline doesn't say that, but I haven't seen Brighton battered like that ever. Like even in the games when they lost 4-0, they've been in with it. But you absolutely gave them, a tonking. So I'm kind of predicating this on De Zerbi kind of having a bit of a chip on his shoulder and going, I can't lose that badly this time, and I have to come up with a tactical plan, especially for you guys. So I think he's going to have something bespoke waiting for you on Saturday. But I still think you're good enough to win it, or get a high scoring draw. I don't think he's going to lock you up. I think your attacking prowess is going to. I might be going too far with 3 Brighton goals. Like they might only score 1 or 2 because your defense is pretty.
We
good.
just stopped City from scoring at the Etihad, and now we're going to let 3 goals in against Brighton. If you're right about that, you are an absolute guru.
This is the type of crazy one I'll get right though. But when a team's winning 3-1 and I say they're going to win, which is the conventional thing to think, they never win. So let's see. I'm trying to just end this curse.
And now you're going to say Man United beat Liverpool 4-0.
Yeah. No, let's get into the United-Liverpool game then. Yeah, blimey. I remember the last time we had Liverpool in the FA Cup and then also had them following up at Old Trafford, like in a short space of time. It was in one of the COVID seasons. And we beat them, I think it was 3-2 or 4-3. I think it was 3-2 in the FA Cup. Bruno scored a peach of a free kick, and that was when Liverpool was struggling a bit, and we beat them 3-2 in the FA Cup, and then we had them again at home at Old Trafford in the league, like a few months later, or a month and a half later, whatever, and we were expecting more of the same, and I think we lost 4-2 in the end, and Dean Henderson was playing, and that was the start of my hate of Dean Henderson, where he was goalkeeping like an absolute baboon. Mo Salah scored a couple of goals and it was an all-round stinker. So I have that in my head, in the back of my head. I have this horrible worry that we're going to do the same thing. We'll win in the FA Cup against them in a humdinger, and then we'll absolutely bottle it in the league game, which probably matters arguably more, right? They fight for the title. But my heart is telling me we're going to get up for this game again, and we're going to stick it on them. I don't think it will be quite as amazing and back and forth and basketballish as the FA Cup game was. So I think it'll be slightly lower scoring. But I'm going to go for United 3, Liverpool 2, and I think we're going to help you lot and City out with a result against the Scousers, and we'll just about beat them. But I would not be shocked at all. Again, I'm going to have the same prediction for every result going forward. You can just mark this down now, Johns. Probably going to predict the United win, but I'm going to preface every single prediction with I wouldn't be shocked if we drew. I would absolutely not be shocked if we lost, because this is United at the moment. So I'm going to go for 3-2 though, and I think we'll be up for it. And I think that first 20 minutes against Liverpool was the best we played all season. I think we were absolutely on them. We suffocated them. We played really well. We obviously then, for the next 60 minutes, showed how, we've been for the rest of the season and let them at it. But I'm banking on us putting in something similar of a performance, hoping by then, Martinez has a few more, minutes in his legs. We've got, some other players back. Casemiro's got some more minutes in his legs and they actually show up. But yeah, it might be a bit of a long shot. But I'm going to go 3-2 Man United. What are you going to say, Johns?
4-1 Liverpool.
Man's doing it again. And why?
Yeah, because
I'm
looking back at your fixtures, man. You guys are a mixed bag. They beat you 7-0. You beat them 4-0. They beat you 4-0. How can you guess it? Like, they've come to, I think in 2021 they came to Old Trafford and beat you 5-0. And
yeah, we don't talk about
honestly,
that.
I don't know what. I don't even know what I'm like. I don't even know what to say. All I know is that these games tend to be, I'm going to say, tend to be one-sided. Whichever team wins it relatively convincingly. Up until obviously the last game that you just played against them. So, I think they're obviously going to have Salah back properly as well. And I think he's going to be the difference maker. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go for a 4-1. I think you'll do the same thing that you did last time. Though. I think you'll get an early goal and you'll be good for it, and then it all just topples. And I think Liverpool are the best team when it comes to being a goal down, being 2 goals down. They just somehow manage to come back. So I'm going to go for a 4-1 Liverpool win, but I think it will be a 1-0 to you, and then they just suddenly turn it on and start smashing you.
Yeah, I mean, the result sounds a bit extreme, but I get it. But even based on the FA Cup game, I get it, because we went 1-0 up, but they obviously flipped it to 2-1 real quickly, and then they had 2 or 3 like 4-on-1, 4-on-2 breaks where they should have made better decisions and could have killed the game. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they do the same this time, but actually manage to convert them and put us away. And don't get me wrong, we can probably come back from a 1-goal deficit, but if we go 2 or 3 goals down, it could become 7-0 again. We've got that propensity in us. Let's see how it turns out. For my sake, hopefully, I hope both of your predictions for us are wrong, because you predicted 2 United losses. And I hope mine are right, because I predicted 2 wins. But let's see how it goes. We've got an action-packed week of Prem football. A lot will be kind of clearer after these 2 games, I guess, because you've both got some big games. And we'll probably know a bit more about the title race and a bit more about this, whether there is a top 4 race going into next.